Alright guys, time for deck number 3. Yeah, take a very good look at it. It's a pink deck box. What do you think? Of course, when I did have this deck box, it was Dragon Exodia. This isn't Dragon Exodia, I'll tell you that. This was the second deck I built after I built Dragon Chaos while I'm here. So ever since I've been here, which has only been for 2 months, I've built 2 decks. Ain't that something? Of course, I haven't really gotten rid of some essentials of other decks that I've created, but this one kind of came around quite nicely. I'm very, very surprised. It's a Psychic deck. Psychics, yeah. Chris Griggs, you might actually be kind of interested in this. I knew you probably wanted to rebuild Psychics sometime back then. So this is a 40-card Psychic deck. It runs very well. There are some of the new Psychics that came out the pack before Order of Chaos that really helped it. And I really, really like it. I really enjoyed playing it whenever it first came out. And so far, it's undefeated. It really is. I haven't had anybody beat it yet. I had it on Dual Network for some time. And I'm about to show you guys exactly, what it is. So, of course, here's the main deck. And here's the extra deck. It has its own extra deck. And then, of course, there's the stable extra deck. And we'll get to that later. So, let's look at the main deck real quick. We have 3 Silent Psychic Wizards. Very, very essential to the deck. Special summoning and such and whatnot. Rank 4, of course. Very, very easy to use. 1900 attack. Great card. I love it. Reinforced Human Psychic Borg. 1500 attack monster, but it's a level 4, and you can banish up to 2 Psychic monsters per turn, and then he gains 500 attack for each. So he becomes a 2500 beat stick while he's out in the field. Plus, loads up your banish selection, and in the banish selection with the Psychic deck, things kind of out of hand and gets really, really crazy. Alright, 2 Timescapers. This is kind of like the Effect Veiler, Honest, whatever. It's a card that activates in the hand for Psychic decks. It allows you to banish 1 Psychic monster on your side of the field until your next standby phase. So it's kind of like that one trap I can't really name at the moment. Really, really good card. I love this card. It also has a strategy lined up with it with one of the cards that's also in the deck. I'll mention it later whenever I get to it. 1 Psychic Emperor. This card is very essential, but only 1 is really needed because it can be special summoned over and over and over again. And while you probably have about maybe 3 Psychic monsters in your graveyard, whenever you special summon this card out into the field, you'll gain 5,000 life points because you gain 500 life points for every Psychic monster that exists in your graveyard. The graveyard will load up, the banish selection will load up, and this card will load up your life points. So almost essentially, you'll never run out of life points no matter how much you lose. 2, Psybeast. I did run 3, but I changed my mind. I don't want to run 3 anymore. This card, combined with this guy, along with maybe a tuner, can make an easy level 8. And so, he can become basically the same level as a Psychic monster that you banish from the deck. Very good for basically just special summoning abilities as well as synchro ability. 2 Hush Psychic Cleric. This guy kind of works the same as Silent Psychic Wizard, but you have to pitch and select from the graveyard. And then, of course, he's a defensive guy, because whenever he comes out, he goes straight into defense mode. Then there's DD Telepon. This is the card that I was talking about for Timescaper. When DD Telepon is out in the field, you can activate Timescaper, banish it, and then its effect activates. You can select a Psychic type monster with 1500 attack or less and banish that card too. Then during your next standby phase, that monster gets special summoned. So then that monster gets special summoned to the field, and then DD Telepon also gets special summoned to the side of the field with Timescaper's effect. So then you got 2 monsters out in the field. That's easy for Synchro as well as Exceed, depending on the monster that you chose. Creebons. Nothing really much to say about Creebons. Negation of attack, pay 800 life, level 2 tuner, yada yada yada, whatever. 3 Serene Psychic Witch. I really like this card because this card gets its effect whenever it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard. Period. Not just by battle, but also by card effect. It can be face down, your opponent tries to destroy it. Oh, well, look what it is. Banish Psychic Monster from the deck, get special summon your next turn. 2 Psychic Commander, the level 3 tuner, that has a wicked effect that can pretty much get past any monster that's slightly higher than your monster. This, of course, is very essential with the Psychic Emperor for another strategy. We'll get to that later. 2 Esper Girls. This is a very, very good card for the draw power. There's a lot of draw power in this deck, and it's amazing how well it all works out. When Esper Girl gets banished, and then gets special summoned to your side of the field, you can banish 1 card. And whenever this card hits the graveyard, that card gets added to your hand. It won't hit your hand whenever it's used for an Xyz, but for Synchro, because it's a level 2 tuner, it still works the same way. And works the same way whenever it gets destroyed. Now, we're about to break into the magics. 1, Escape Teleport. There's only 1 in here so far. I do have a second one, and it will be put in here by the time the next ban list comes in. Very, very excited about having 2 emergency teleports in the deck. It's really, really going to help out. I'm stoked. 2, Psychokinesis. This card can destroy any card out in the field, magic, trap, monster, but then you take 1,000 life points of damage. But this deck, who gives a damn? You'll gain back that life points almost instantly. 2, Psychic Field Zones. This is how the deck kind of runs about. When Psychic Field Zone is activated, you'll have to have 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner Psychic type monster removed from play. You put them back into the graveyard and special summon, not Synchro summon, but special summon a Synchro monster from your extra deck with the same level. Psychic Emperor combined with Psychic Commander can basically bring out Overmind Archfiend. There's 2 of them in this deck, because I can bring them out either by just regular Synchro summoning or Psychic Field Zone. But this card is very, very good with its effect, because once per turn you can banish any Psychic monster from your graveyard. And then whenever this card hits the field, whenever this card is sent to the graveyard, you special summon as many of the monsters removed from play by its effect. So it's multiple monsters, multiple defenses, multiple offenses, and multiple effects going off and off and off and off and off. Gain life points, draw cards, bam, 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 bam. It's crazy. So, then Future Glow. This card is basically like Solidarity, but meant only for Psychics. You can banish any Psychic monster from your graveyard, and then of course all Psychic type monsters gain attack equal to its level times 200. Broken if chosen the correct card. Let's say, Overmind Archfiend gets sent to the graveyard, especially if it was brought out by Psychic Field Zone. Can't special summon this guy anymore if you do that, because it was special summoned and not Synchro summoned. So what I do is I remove it from play with Future Glow, and then all my monsters, all my Psychic monsters, gain 1800 attack strength. Beat down. And then of course the essentials, Miracle Synchro Fusion for the 1 fusion that I do have in the deck. And then of course staples like Mystical Space Typhoons, Dark Hole, and Heavy Storm. Can't go wrong. Next up are the traps. Most of these traps are actually essentially draw power. And because a lot of people spend a lot of their time probably thinking about how to destroy the back row, I figured maybe I probably just give them, something to really think about. If your opponent doesn't know, that's going to really help you, because if they try to target one of these specific traps, they can activate in a chain. You'll draw, and their card is useless. Psychic Trigger. Can be activated whenever your life points are lower. Remove 2 psychic monsters from your graveyard, which is a step to being able to use most of the effects. And then you draw 2 cards. Sweet. It's pretty much the reckless greed of the deck without, the harmful drawback of not drawing. Bright Future, you can tag this along with Psychic Trigger. Basically, you can add back the 2 banished monsters that you just got rid of with Psychic Trigger back into the graveyard, and then draw a card. Then they can just be removed again. Mind Over Matter. This is a proxy for Mind Over Matter. It's the only proxy that I have. I can't really find another one around here. Probably have to order one somewhere else. But this card is a solemn judgment for psychics. Tribute 1 psychic on the field, negate anything. Negate a normal summon, special summon, spell card, and trap card. Won't negate a flip summon though. That's about it. So yeah. Psychic Overload, of course, is the Pot of Avarice for the deck. It'll get those 3 psychic monsters that you really want back into your deck again, and then you draw 2 cards. Return from the Different Dimension, definitely very essential to the deck, seeing as how, life points isn't really much of a factor with it, and you get to special summon as many monsters as you possibly can to your side of the field. Effects keep going off, boom, 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 boom. And then last but not least is Torrential Tribute, of course, another staple. Get rid of most of those monsters, pesky monsters your opponent have. Alright. Now it's time for the extra deck. Here we go. 1, Ultimate Axon Kicker. Ridiculous card that can't be destroyed by card effects, gain life points, and piercing damage. Oh my god, and it's so easy to bring out just with Miracle Synchro Fusion. I burped. Okay, 2, Overmind Archfiends. We've already mentioned that card earlier. Hyper Psychic Blaster. Don't really need him in the deck, but he's there just in case. Thought Ruler Archfiend, highly essential. I only have 1, only really need 1. 2 Psychic Nightmares. Synchroing for a 6 actually becomes very, very easy for the deck. I don't have a Bryonic within the extra staple, otherwise it'd be all too easy. So Psychic Nightmares are in the deck, and they're good with Future Glow. Magical Android, of course, 2 of them, level 5. Can easily come out and regain back life points. And then there's 2 Psychic Life Transfers. Banish 1 Psychic monster, which is good for the deck, essentially, and then gain 1,200 life points. Now let's see, how many cards is this within the deck? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that means I can have 4 within the extra staple deck. I'm thinking Stardust, Ally of Justice, Gachi Gentetsu for sure, because there are a lot of level 2s, believe it or not, that can really come out with the deck. And Black Rose. You can easily sync for a level 7 within the deck. So that, of course, would be the extra deck left. Anyways, that's deck number 3. I'm going to work on number 4 real quick for you. I really like this deck. I was really excited to build it. Anyways, go and work on the next video. Catch you later.